Hi, good day. Welcome to Spotlight on Tourism. This is a show from Experienced Turks and Caicos where we talk about all things tourism. We give you updates from the tourism industry. We interview people who are working hard to put the Turks and Caicos Islands on the map and to increase visitation. And we highlight activities and events across our communities. I am your host, Laura Dowridge. I'm the Public Relations Manager of Experienced Turks and Caicos, and as usual, it is a delight to be with you once again on this beautiful Thursday morning. This is the week before Easter, and I know a lot of us are out there preparing for the long Easter weekend that's coming up. I know a lot of us cannot wait to be off work, to be at the beach, to be with our family, to be eating a lot of sumptuous meals, snacks, to spend time with our children who are going to be on their Easter break. Can you believe we are literally at the end of March? It is crazy. The year is galloping. It is really, really flying fast. And, it just calls on us to make the most of our time every day because by the time you blink, it's nighttime. By the time you blink, it's Monday. The weekend is over. So I just want to urge you all to sometimes, slow down, inhale, enjoy your scenery, enjoy your friends and family, spend quality time with your loved ones because time is moving fast. So, as you know, for those who are accustomed watching Spotlight on Tourism, welcome back. And for those who are here for the first time, welcome. So, I usually like to start this show with some good news. Let's giving you all some updates on what's happening in our tourism sector. So, one of the good news emerging this week is that the Turks and Caicos Islands has been leading search in the UK from travelers who would have booked, vacations to the Middle East. And we know what's going on with Iran, that war between the US, Israel, and Iran, and what's happening in the Middle East right now, a lot of tensions. They're urging people not to travel. People are worried about their safety and security. So Travel Supermarket, a platform, published some findings stating that searches for Caribbean islands have surged in recent weeks, and the Turks and Caicos Islands is leading those searches. Searches for the Turks and Caicos Islands were up by 119%. We top the list of searches for the region where people are looking for alternative vacation spots, and that is really positive news for us. So, at Experienced Turks and Caicos, we now want to look and see how we can convert those searches into actual bookings. And we haven't been resting on our laurels when it comes to the UK market. We've really been working hard over the last 2 years in the UK market, working a lot with travel advisors, doing a lot of travel advisor training, which is very necessary for to increase bookings, because the audience that we go after, that high-end affluent audience, a lot of them use travel advisors. We found that travel advisors, the need for travel advisors has really increased since COVID, since, the real COVID days. And a lot of people use travel advisors to help curate their vacation, to give them advice on where to go, and, really tailor the best vacation for them. So targeting travel advisors, working with them, training them is really an important strategy for us, because we need them to know and understand the destination so they can effectively sell the destination to their clients. And we've been doing tremendous work. I think we have trained over 2,000 travel advisors in the UK specifically. We've trained across our source markets, but definitely in the UK, as we're talking about the UK searches for the Turks and Caicos Islands. And we have a marketing rep in the UK market who has really been, going the length and breadth of the UK to train travel advisors, attend shows, get into partnerships with different entities so we can really boost our presence there and increase our visitation from the UK market. We've also been working extensively with British Airways because, as you know, Virgin Atlantic pulled out about a year ago from this market. And so we have been working a lot with British Airways, doing a marketing campaign with them for the last year, so they too could help us to boost visitation. Of course, it benefits them. They increase bookings. So more people would come. They fly to Turks and Caicos Islands via Nassau twice weekly. So it's really good to work with them to help boost our profile in the UK market. So we are very positive that we can convert a lot of these searches into bookings, and that will definitely benefit us because the UK is a very important source market for us here in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Yes, we are British overseas territory, but there are a lot of people in the UK who are not aware of that we are a multi-island destination, for instance. They're not aware of everything that we have to offer. They're not aware of our signature events. And so we have been working really hard to make them aware of all the wonderful things that they can do: rest, relax, recharge, come and enjoy, go to the Big South for regatta, go to Q-Fest in North Caicos, really immerse themselves in the community. So we've been working really hard. And one of these things that we are going to be doing soon, in next month actually, for the Inspire Global Awards. This is a media awards that is held in the UK, where they award travel writers in different categories. So we are going to be a sponsor for the Positive Impact Storyteller of the Year. And one of the reasons why we decided to get involved with this awards and as a sponsor is because one of the writers that we hosted in collaboration with Waimara last January, actually, she wrote a beautiful story about the Turks and Caicos Islands, which has been nominated for a Consumer Feature of the Year award. So, we figured, Turks and Caicos is already there in this nomination. Let's get involved. Let's sponsor one of the categories. And this is also a way of increasing our profile in the Turks and Caicos Islands. We are also going to be the headline sponsor for a dinner that the Caribbean Council will be holding, which will feature a keynote address from our Premier, the Honorable Washington Missick. So we're doing a lot of stuff in the UK market. We are ramping up our presence there, and we're really, really, really buoyed by the interest that we're seeing coming out of that market. So in more good news, our numbers are continuing to grow. We started off January in a really positive note, as I would have told you last show, and I just got our February numbers, and preliminary figures, these are very preliminary, have shown that we had a 6% increase in February over the corresponding period last year. So for February, we had 63,820 stayover arrivals. And that is really magnificent, especially given all of the geopolitical activities happening, right, that affect our main source market, the US. These are really positive numbers that people are still traveling and they're still coming to the Turks and Caicos Islands and still choosing us as their preferred destination. And you just have to look along Grace Bay, look in the supermarkets. You see people all over on the beaches, Taylor Bay, Sapodilla. You see them driving. I mean, you could see that there's a lot of activity in the destination. And traditionally, January to March are usually our highest months anyway. But given what is happening globally, it is very, very comforting to know that our numbers are still climbing, that we are still being seen as the place people want to go, the premier luxury destination that people want to go with their families, bring their pets, and have a really good time. So, of course, like all Caribbean islands, we are keeping a keen eye on what's going on with this war, and most importantly, the effect that it's having on fuel prices. So if you look at the news, there's a lot of talk about fuel prices and how it will affect global travel. Of course, they're saying that the cost of traveling is expected to skyrocket, and they were advising people up to a week ago, if you have travel planned for the rest of the year, book your tickets now to avoid that price hike. They were predicting that the cost of tickets might go up as much as 40%. So if you have travel booked this year from Turks and Caicos, you might want to get on that, jump on it, book your tickets early. But, as a country that is so dependent on tourism, we really have to look at all of these things that are happening that could affect visitation here. And there's some things that are not within our control, obviously. And so we're keeping a keen eye on that. So yes, it presents the challenges and the issues in the world present opportunities for us, in that we are the alternative destination, that people feel that it's safe and secure and they could come and get away from the war, they won't be affected. But on the other hand, the cost of getting here might become prohibitive. airlines might start cutting frequency just to save on costs for for fuel. So that is something that we are keeping our eyes on. You know, it is the tourism industry is a very, very volatile one, and it's always subject to shocks that happen outside of the destination. And so we always have to keep an eye on what's going on and see where we could best position ourselves, how we can pivot, where we need to focus on more, where we need to make more investments, which markets we need to look at developing to offset declines from other markets. So it's constant. It's like playing chess, right? It's constant movement, constant monitoring, constantly looking at trends. And speaking of trends, I am pleased to announce that Experience Turks and Caicos, we have published a guide to the Turks and Caicos Islands, a very, very detailed guide. You may have seen the press release that went out today on social media and probably been in newspapers this week. We've done this guide. It's a very, very, very detailed guide. It's the first guide from Experience Turks and Caicos since we were established. And we really wanted to do an updated guide to the destination, a very, very detailed guide that really answers a lot of the questions visitors ask about. So it focuses on all of our islands because, you know, our mandate is to ensure that we make that all our communities benefit from tourism. It's not just about Providenciales. Our focus is all of the Turks and Caicos Islands, North Caicos, Middle Caicos, South Caicos, Grand Turks, Sole Key. We are here to make sure that everybody is included and benefit. And so the publication really highlights what our different islands have to offer, their unique traits, their beauty, all the activities, things that you must see in the islands. It looks at our events. As you know, we publish an events calendar. It's pinned to our Facebook page. It's on Instagram, and it really details all of the activities and events that are taking place. And you know, now it seems that now the pre-COVID event calendar is beginning to fill back up again. It seems like every weekend there's something happening here, and that's great because while we are a destination known primarily for our beaches, we do also want to be known for our culture. We want to be known for our signature events in the islands. And so the guide also has, you know, events that people should attend. It has a list of locally owned restaurants. Again, our focus is to make sure that people here benefits, our locals benefit from tourism. So there's a list of locally owned restaurants. There are QR codes where you can get a comprehensive list of restaurants across the islands, taxi drivers, accommodation. We really put a lot of detail and information and effort into this guide so that when visitors read the guide, the visitors who are here, they know what to do, or people who are thinking about coming to the Turks and Caicos Islands, they have a wonderful idea of what to expect and what they can do. We help to give you an idea on how to plan your vacation. It has 3, 7, and 10-day itineraries in the guide. We're really, really proud of this effort. You can go to our website, visit turksandcaicos.com to download the digital version. There will be hard copies available at different hotels and through different stakeholders. As soon as we get them, they will distribute them. And we're really primarily using the physical copies for different shows and conferences that we attend, so we can let our visitors pick up a copy and read all about this wonderful destination. And last week, I was telling you all about some openings. We have some new restaurants opening. We had the camp by the Lauren. So the Lauren is not completed yet. This is down at Turtle Cove. They are going to be opening spring 2027, but they opened a pop-up restaurant called the Camp, which is right up the hill just before the entrance to go to the Lauren. Beautiful restaurant. Please go check it out. And I also want to say congratulations to Beach Enclave. They opened a new restaurant called Ambra. So the restaurant offerings, listen, there is so much diversity when it comes to our food offerings here in the Turks and Caicos Islands. And we have new additions every so often. There are new restaurants popping up, just expanding the range of food that we can get here. So congratulations to both properties on the opening of their new hotels. And I just want to also just let you all know about, I like to let you know what's happening on our source market. Over the last few months, we have been hosting media from Canada. We had a group press trip from Canada in November last year. Just about a week ago, we hosted 2 other journalists from Canada. And we have seen some amazing coverage in the Canadian media. We've been featured in Toronto Star, the Vancouver Sun, National Parks Traveler, a website called A Taste for Travel, and Chatelaine magazine, a lifestyle magazine in a Canadian French lifestyle magazine that's published in Quebec. We've had amazing stories, and one of these stories I want to highlight to you guys. One of the ladies who was here recently, Jennifer Bean. She and another journalist called Patricia Lee were here just about a week or so ago. They spent some time in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Patricia went to North and Middle. Both of them went to South Caicos, and Jennifer went to Little Water Key with the National Trust, and she wrote a wonderful story about the efforts to preserve and protect the rock iguana. But she also wrote a piece from her visit to South Caicos about, it's called South Caicos, Away from the Crowds in Turks and Caicos. And it's a list of 11 things that you should do in South Caicos. Now, the thing that piqued my interest about this article was that she spoke about grocery tourism, and she said she's been writing about grocery tourism before it became popular on TikTok and Instagram. And she featured as one of the 11 things that you must do a visit to the grocery. So she went to Johnny's Grocery, which is owned by Johnny Lamour, and she spoke about the tropical banana bread made by his mother that he sells in his store. Now, why did this pique my interest? Did you all know that grocery tourism is a thing? I had no idea. Grocery tourism, supermarket tourism is a thing. And it's a trend fueled, of course, by the influencers, TikTok and Instagram, where they go to visitors explore supermarkets as a way of understanding and immersing themselves in the culture of a destination. So what you find, the trends are showing that younger travelers in particular are seeking authentic experiences. They want to experience authentic daily life, local culture, unique flavors. They don't want the superficial, glossy, curated thing. They want to feel the real thing. And for them, supermarkets are like museums. You go there and you can see, you could feel, you could understand a culture. For instance, for example, one of the publications I read gave an example of eggs. So in the US, they wash their eggs and they strip it away from some of the important nutrients that will increase salmonella. So they have to refrigerate the eggs. In the UK, they don't do all of that. So the eggs are not refrigerated. Little things like that give you an insight into how cultures, what their policies are, how cultures develop. You might find snacks in a supermarket that in a particular country that you won't find anywhere else. So I found this really, really interesting because a lot of people, when you think about tourism, you think about hotels and tour operators, taxi drivers. You don't really think about supermarkets. And right in the Turks and Caicos Islands, that should be a no-brainer for us, right? Because you go to IG and it's swarmed by visitors buying food. There's a diversity of food at IG. You have American brands, UK brands, Caribbean brands, and that reflects the diversity of the population here in Providenciales. So it's really interesting, and it's really a signal to our shopkeepers, our supermarket owners, that they are part of the tourism ecosystem, and people are coming to your supermarkets to learn about the destination. I found that so intriguing. I thought I would share that with you. So now you're up to date on everything that's been going on, what we've been doing, what's happening in our source markets. And now I'm going to get into our interview segment. As you would have seen on social media today, we are interviewing a woman who has been working really, really hard to promote the Turks and Caicos Islands through beauty, through fashion. And, we talk about what we consider unconventional forms of tourism. To me, this is a form of tourism, what she's doing, because she's creating ambassadors, putting ambassadors out there to talk about the Turks and Caicos Islands, and also creating events to put the Turks and Caicos Islands on the map. So my guest today is none other than Miss Alicia Swan, and she's here to talk about the TCI Fashion Week. Alicia, welcome to Spotlight on Tourism.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So Alicia, you are, a lot of people know you for the work you've been doing with beauty competition pageants and putting, grooming girls and putting them out there to represent the Turks and Caicos Islands.
Yes.
And now you are working on TCI Fashion, which I believe started last year. So this will be
Correct.
the second installment. So tell us a bit about TCI Fashion. Why TCI Fashion Week?
That is a wonderful question. Thank you. Turks and Caicos is known for its beauty. It's known for its culture, its heritage, and, traveling around the world and exploring various cultures and so forth. I came to the conclusion, why not Turks and Caicos Fashion Week? We have the best backdrop there is, our beautiful waters, our investors has done a remarkable job in terms of our resorts and what we have to offer. So Turks and Caicos Fashion Week is a way to show the world that Turks and Caicos is not just a destination to come and relax and enjoy and visit as a tourist, you usually do, but it's also a way to get involved in the culture and the heritage of our people, what we have to offer, and get a little bit more of what we do as a people when it comes to our fashion.
Yeah.
We have a number of fashion designers, and that is also one of the main reasons why Turks and Caicos Fashion Week was birthed. I have spoken to a number of designers, local designers that is, and being Turks and Caicos is such a small country, we share a lot of information with each other. And one of the things that they spoke about is having a place where they can be celebrated. And so this gives an opportunity for our visitors as well as our locals to invest and enjoy what we have to offer at Turks and Caicos.
So I'm really, really glad to hear that we have local designers here, because that is something, it's something throughout the Caribbean where you're seeing more made in Caribbean products,
Yes.
from fashion design to from clothing to jewelry to shoes to there's across the Caribbean, a lot of entrepreneurs are really, really focusing on developing their creativity and turning it into businesses.
Yes.
And so the TCI Fashion Week really would help to put a spotlight on what we have here in terms of
Absolutely.
fashion, because there are different islands you can go to and you know who the fashion designers are. So that is really nice to see that there's a platform to showcase the creativity, the unique style of what our designers here has to offer. I love that.
Yes. And I must also put a footnote to that. During the time of COVID, we noticed that there was a lot of businesses that came on stream, even though it was a time that, it was a very challenging time, but I also realized it was a very good time in creativity.
Yes.
A lot of businesses came on stream, a lot of young people came up with a lot of ideas, which to me was intriguing to see how, how resilient we are as a people. And even during a very difficult time, how we could create something beautiful within that time frame. Recently, I've noticed the Turks and Caicos fans that are made, fans and teams, by two local sisters. So that was very interesting to me, that they're coming together, making something beautiful.
Yeah.
And so we want to ensure that all of our designers are placed on that spotlight. We always look around the world and we know the fashion capitals of the world. Turks and Caicos is in line of being that. I must say also that I've realized it has been overwhelming in a sense to see the interest that has grown since last year's Fashion Week to this year's Fashion Week. I have designers also contacting us how they can get involved in even 2027 Fashion Week.
Wow.
So that is a very good thing.
Wow. So it's not just limited to clothing, apparel, it's jewelry, it's accessories.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Because that is who we are. We're not only clothing. Turks and Caicos has a unique style and flair of who we are as a people and what we have to offer. And so this gives our visitors something, as you mentioned, curated. It is not curated. It's authentic. It's unique. It is generally what we as a people have to offer in our sense of fashion.
So tell us a little bit about the program. First of all, what are the dates for the Fashion Week?
So Fashion Week this year is April 26th until the 2nd of May.
Okay, so we have a month to prepare ourselves.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. It's an entire week. All right, so tell us a bit about the program. Can you break down the program daily, like what we can expect?
Yes, there will be some surprises. We won't let everyone know everything. We want you to come and see and experience it for yourself. But the program we are actually this year, I wanted to ensure that everyone that attends Fashion Week or hears about Fashion Week know that Turks and Caicos is on the map. Hence, every day we are celebrating one of our beautiful islands. So each day we're celebrating North Caicos one day, Middle Caicos, South Caicos, Grand Turk, Providenciales, that's 5 days. And the final day and the finale will be a celebration of all of those days combined, as well as some additional items that you'll see on the list.
Oh, I love that.
Thank
And
you.
that is I love that because one of the things that I was speaking earlier that we do at Experience Turks and Caicos, our mandate is to ensure all of our communities benefit from tourism. And so
Yes,
our message out there is that we are a multi-island destination and we
definitely.
encourage visitors to go to the different islands. Don't just stay in Provo.
Mhm.
Go take a day trip overnight in North and Middle. Go
Yes.
to South Caicos. Go to Grand Turk. Go to Salt Key. We really encourage people to get out there. So I love that there's a focus on each of the islands.
Yes, so that too is where you will see the various work. You may see the thatch work, where the hats that are made, usually in the islands of North and Middle Caicos, some
Right.
designs in that area, as mentioned. So what we are planning on doing is ensuring that, again, each island is given a fair chance of being showcased. Even though the entire program will be here in Providenciales this year, next year, we're hoping that we can visit each island.
Oh, lovely.
So you can actually feel the spirit of the people because each island is unique to itself. The way
Yeah.
our dialects, the way everything, we're Turks and Caicos, but we're still unique in each island. You get a little bit of something different.
Yeah.
And so that is one of the reasons why I wanted to ensure that Turks and Caicos Fashion Week gives everyone a chance of something different while we also embracing international culture. We're
Yes.
integrating it into one with our local culture.
Nice. So the theme this year is the new tropic. Can you
Correct.
explain the theme? What is the concept behind that?
So the new tropic, because again, Turks and Caicos is such a beautiful melting pot of culture, of heritage, and so forth. And so the tropic is where you're going to get a feel of all of that. The tropics of each island, what we have to offer in our own sense of what Turks and Caicos has. And so that is one of the main reasons for New Tropic. It is something new in the sense that we have a lot of designers are now taking our national heritage and placing it into more of a modern style. So you do have a little bit of modern as well as our authentic culture.
Nice. Will there be designers from outside of Turks and Caicos participating?
Absolutely. It is such a blessing to see the amount of interest of designers from all over the world who has been applying and showing interest in Turks and Caicos Fashion Week. You have until April 7th to complete your registration online. So we have a lot of interest. I actually was communicating with about 3 designers just a day ago of their interest in signing up to participate in Turks and
Yeah.
Caicos Fashion Week. With that being said, because we want to ensure that our local designers, and I encourage all local designers to please take up this opportunity. This is for you to showcase the world of what we have to offer. So please do ensure that you sign up. So the first 3 days of Fashion Week, what we're going to do is focus mainly on the local designers.
Right.
And so we have Middle Caicos, we have North Caicos, and South Caicos. So each day has a different flair. South Caicos, because we're known as a fishing industry. When you think of fashion, you think of swimwear, beachwear, etc. And so that day we will showcase, hopefully on the beautiful Grace Bay Beach, the best drop that you
Yes,
can ever
yes,
have for any
definitely.
fashion,
Yes.
the world's greatest beach. So we will showcase our beautiful swimwear by local designers
Right.
and swimwear. North Caicos and Middle Caicos, of course, we have our cultural outfits and so forth, and that will also be displayed in those particular days. Moving on to Thursday, Friday, and the finale on Saturday, that is when we invite our international designers to come in.
Right.
On Thursday, we will be showcasing our culture in our cultural outfits. So the national costume in various designs by designers, their take of our national costume will be on display. And we also invite international designers to come with their interpretation of their national costumes.
Oh,
So it'll be a celebration of
yes.
beauty, of fashion, combining cultures together internationally as well as what we have together
Yeah.
in one beautiful showcase. And so that is Thursday. And Friday, we're going to have an urban wear, which is intriguing because when you think of urban, Turks and Caicos, I'm thinking Providenciales.
Yeah.
And so we'll have a unique way of displaying the urban wear. During that time, that is when we ask for all of our international designers to be on island and also showcase some of their work as well. And that is going to be a beautiful, beautiful event. The first 3 days of Fashion Week, we will have a local host, and I'll speak a little bit
Yes, we'll
more.
talk about we have like a major guest announcement to
Yes,
make. So
we'll
we,
make
we will get to
that.
that.
We'll
We
get
will
to
get to
that.
that. We will get to that. Tell us about, so last I know you had some honors recognition. You'd given recognition to some people. Is that coming back this year? And are there going to be awards as well during the Fashion Week?
Definitely. Again, because we want to ensure that the world know that Turks and Caicos is not just a place that you come to relax, the sun, sand, and sea, which we are so blessed to have in our beautiful resorts and our Airbnbs and all of those things, and water sports. Fashion and pageantry tourism is here in Turks and Caicos, and it's here to stay. We are we're getting to being one of the top destinations when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And my goal is to ensure that that happens. With that also being said, what is Fashion Week without honoring the pioneers of fashion in Turks and Caicos? So it was a no-brainer to say we are going to highlight each year a designer from Turks and Caicos or an influencer in the art or fashion world
Right.
that has made many strides in those areas. And so this year we are honored to have the Dr. Demikos Williams. He is extremely well known. He's known not only in Turks and Caicos, but also internationally. He designs persons like the governor, the deputy governor, the
Right.
premiers, And so it was more than fitting to honor him for his hard
Nice.
work and dedication to fashion in Turks and Caicos.
Nice. Are
Yes.
there what other awards will be given?
In addition to that, we are going to be awarding some of our designers in various categories. So I'm looking forward to that. We have that coming up as well. Also for Demikos, because it's not going to be just one day of Fashion Week, each day we'll be honoring him in a special way.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. That is very exciting. Very exciting. And I was going to ask because that really kind of answers my next question about how this event really supports local talent. Because at the end
Yes.
of the day, whatever we're doing, we want to make sure that locals benefit, right?
Definitely. We
Yeah.
definitely want the highlight around them, as well as we are inviting, have interest in journalists that wants to come, media that's coming. We have, again, designers and a number of international models that will be coming. And so it'll be a beautiful thing for them to see some of our pioneers in the fashion world,
Yes.
networking with them, understanding and speaking about, the fashion world in their country and ours and how we can become one.
Yes. Well, I love that, Alicia. Alicia,
Thank you.
what was, because I know you for your pageants,
Yes,
right? But
yes.
what made you decide to do TCI Fashion Week? Like what inspired this?
I am a patriotic person by heart. I feel blessed to be a Turks and Caicos Islander, and it runs through my veins. I am Turks and Caicos straight through and through.
Which island are you from?
South Caicos.
Nice, the Big South.
The Big
Nice.
South, and we know Big South is now the Big
Yes,
South.
it is indeed.
It is the spotlight right now.
It is.
And so I thought about it. I do appreciate culture. I love history. I love traveling to other countries and understanding their history and appreciating it. And so I wanted to give our international visitors and, influencers in the fashion world an opportunity to see Turks and Caicos in that light. You know, it is something when you go to other countries and you see this. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I thought, why not Turks and Caicos?
Yeah.
There's absolutely no reason why Turks and Caicos cannot be one of the fashion capitals of the world.
And as you said, there's no country, I'm sorry, in the Caribbean, sorry, not sorry, with a backdrop
Yes.
like us. Like
Absolutely.
there's none.
Absolutely.
There's none.
Like you have the natural, as I mentioned for South Caicos, imagine you have to do very little to showcase a swimwear
Mm-hmm.
audition
Yeah.
on the best beach in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
It's a
absolutely
no-brainer.
a no-brainer. And I do want to ensure that the world gets a chance to experience our culture and history
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, our heritage while we embrace what they have to offer as well.
So right, so tell us about the host.
Yes. So
This
this
exciting
year,
announcement, just a drum roll.
oh yeah.
Right.
So I am extremely honored to announce officially that the host for Thursday through Saturday of Turks and Caicos Fashion Week
Mm-hmm.
is none other than a former America's Next Top Model,
Ooh, who's that?
Camille McDonald.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Camille McDonald,
Oh, that's
she
huge.
is absolutely thrilled to be a part of Turks and Caicos Fashion Week.
Nice.
And for models, this is a little treat for you. She has also agreed to work with our models in her signature walk that she had
Ooh,
became
nice.
famous for
Right.
from America's Top Model. So again, to see our models on display
Yes.
during the Fashion Week is going to be something that you do not want to miss because they are going to be also trained with Camille.
Nice. That is a great opportunity for all you aspiring models out there. And you know, we've been performing so well in the pageants that we
Yes.
need to keep the crop of models coming. So if you're interested in developing your skill as a model, definitely you should be involved in this. I love that.
Yes, thank you.
That is great. Wow. That is huge.
There is
That is
another
huge.
model that is from America's Next Top Model, who's also shown interest. So we will be doing some work with her, hopefully in the future as well.
Nice.
Yes.
And maybe just probably develop a partnership. You could have a school, because I know that's something that
That
we
is
had
coming
spoken
up.
about before, that you know
Yes.
your vision.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your vision for TCI Fashion Week, and also your long-term vision for really developing models and the beauty industry here in the Turks and Caicos Islands.
This question is very, very dear, close to my heart. And I smiled as you were saying it because it made me reflect. You know, a lot of the times when we venture out into areas that we normally don't see as traditional, you don't know what the outcome is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
When I started with the pageantry, I had no idea it was going to bloom to the point that we still, to this day, hold the title of internationally first place in all pageant history in any pageant in Turks and Caicos through One Nation Turks and Caicos with
Right.
Miss Selena Grant.
Yes.
And with Fashion Week, as I had mentioned, the interest is phenomenal. As I had mentioned, again, we have models, international models, contacting us and saying, I want to be a part of Turks and Caicos Fashion Week. What can we do to make this happen? I don't want to miss Turks and Caicos Fashion Week.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not only towards models, but international designers and photographers who've reached out and say, we will be here for Turks and Caicos Fashion Week 2026. Yeah. And I know it's going to increase so rapidly because I see the growth and I'm like, God, wow, we are so blessed. And so it just shows that, and I want to speak to persons who have interests, who they feel like no one is going to support me, or this may be something that may never work.
Mm-hmm.
It will work. You have to just take that first step. And before anyone can believe in you, you have to believe in yourself. You have to show the world what you're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
It is a buy-in. It is not going to come automatically. You may feel like the support is not there the first or second time you come around, but you have to believe in yourself first. Otherwise, there's no room for anyone to believe in you.
Yeah.
And so I see that as an opportunity for us to showcase the world what we have to offer. As it relates to what is the future, the present and future for Turks and Caicos is developing our pageantry and fashion tourism to the point that we do not need to look for designers. We do not need to look for any models, influencers, anyone.
Yeah.
They are knocking on our doors because they're knocking on our doors now. So you can imagine the future is already set.
Yeah.
So as it relates to the future, I thank God for choosing me for a time like this to take on these roles, because I know as I sit here today, this is only the beginning for Turks and Caicos. The world rapidly understanding that Turks and Caicos is more than just a destination for weddings or vacation. We are now international in pageantry and in fashion.
Yeah.
Hence, we are opening up the One Nation Royal Academy this summer.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and we are going to be working with international influencers in the pageant and fashion world, as well as photography, all the areas that persons who's interested in these areas will be able to learn from.
Yeah.
I believe that one of the things that Turks and Caicos is not lacking is talent.
No, there's a lot of talent here.
Absolutely.
It's just for somebody to identify the talent and really train it and help them to get the opportunities.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so moving forward, even when it comes to pageantry, the goal for me with pageants is to develop world-class competitors. And so the Royal Academy will give our young people who are interested in pageantry an opportunity to be properly trained, properly prepared in all areas that is required to becoming those winners that we are seeking and bringing home those crowns to Turks and Caicos.
And even if they don't win, it's also about character development.
Definitely.
Really instilling confidence and helping with to build your self-esteem and helping you to represent yourself properly in the world.
Yes, all of that comes naturally. What I realized with pageantry, because I too recently had been contacted to enter a mother's pageant.
Really?
And so being on the other side of it, from
nice.
developing to considering being a contestant.
Right.
It is one of those things after being approached that I truly started to realize the amount of work, conditioning mentally.
Yes, discipline.
The discipline. Being the student and not the teacher puts you in a total different light of the entire aspect of pageantry. And when I looked at that, I got a much more appreciation, even more so, of our young people who are in pageants, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot to be in pageants. And so this is why the Royal Academy is going to teach them when it comes to fashion. You're learning fashion. We started working since last year and finishing up the Fashion Institute with the Turks and Caicos Community College. So that is one aspect that we're working on diligently, and we're just hoping and praying that that comes to fruition very soon.
Yes.
The persons who's interested in designing will be able to learn. Dr. Corinne Melissa, who is my producer last year, is working with me and the community college on that project, and it is coming together nicely. So we'll soon be offering fashion in the Turks and Caicos Islands Community College.
Oh, that's beautiful.
In addition to the Royal Academy, which will focus mainly on models, knowing your angles, knowing, if I'm not a commercial model, I may be a runway model. It doesn't mean that I'm less because I do one or the other.
It's just overall model development, really.
Overall model development. And the trickling effect to this, as you had forementioned, is giving our people the confidence level, learning soft skills
Mm-hmm.
that carries you through life,
Yeah.
not only in the world of pageant and fashion, but everything. Job interviews, opening your own business, learning all these aspects, it comes through pageantry.
Yeah.
So for those that ask why pageantry and fashion, because it is not only what you see, the final product, there's so much more that comes with that, but also what you gather internally
Yeah.
during the process.
And execution is key,
Yes.
right? And I know you're a hardworking woman. Do you have
Thank
a
you.
team to help you execute this?
I do.
Yeah.
I do have a team, which I am grateful for,
Yeah.
but I am also a very hands-on person.
Mm-hmm.
I have my pulse in everything because I truly strongly believe that we do need a team to make anything work.
Of course.
However, leading by example is
Mm-hmm.
also extremely important to me, and I know the vision that God has given me
Yeah.
for these projects, and so I want to ensure that that actually is executed the way that it ought to be.
In terms of support, are you getting support that you need to make sure that this week comes off
I am getting the
perfectly?
support. I'm grateful for the support that we've gotten so far.
Yes.
However, I am opening up to our business community to understand that this project is bigger than me
Yeah.
or them. And we all have an investment in Turks and Caicos. As a business owner, you are able to be showcased internationally as we
Mm-hmm.
have international influencers, as well as being able to be a part of a movement. Yes.
Exciting. I'm very curious. I mean, we have to wrap up soon, but I'm very curious, Alicia, what does this mean, TCI Fashion Week? What does it mean for our tourism industry? What does it represent to you?
To me, Fashion Week, what it means to me is an opportunity to allow international designers, influencers to come to Turks and Caicos and be a part of our heritage, our culture, our people, and the beauty of who we are. And to see us and take us seriously internationally as well, that we're not just, again, just a destination for relaxation, which we are. And we are more than that. And so this gives us an opportunity for our local community to understand they have a place in the development of Turks and Caicos, a true place.
Yeah.
The demand will be there. My goal is to see local designers in each boutique within Turks and Caicos. That is also a project that I'm working on.
Nice.
And so that gives us as a people a chance to showcase and be excited of designing, to be creative, to know that visitors can visit a boutique in a resort and see something with the label made in Turks and Caicos. That is the goal. That is one of the ultimate goals.
Right.
As it relates to our visitors, to come and see Turks and Caicos is the place to be for so many things. Our people are beautiful, not only externally, but internally. We're welcoming, we're loving, we feel as if you become our family.
Yes.
We treat you as such. And as well than that, when it comes to fashion, you can see what we have to offer to the world.
Yes. I love
Yes.
that. Alicia, before we go, please tell our viewers, our listeners, where they can get tickets, where the venues, dates, remind them of dates, and where they could go for more information.
Thank you. So we invite everyone to visit our website, which is Myrna in lower caps dash lisas.com. Information is there, will be there. Ticket information will be posted this month. So you'll be able to purchase tickets through there. We also have our Instagram page, Turks and Caicos Fashion Week, as well as our Facebook page, Turks and Caicos Islands Fashion Week, that you can follow for updates and so forth. And the dates are April 26th to May 2nd. We will have a week of events, weeks of not just fashion shows, but networking. We will have industry panel discussion. So you'll be able to hear from persons like Camille and other influencers, designers, and so forth, and learn their journeys and get some information which you may be interested in, which I'm sure you're interested in when it comes to fashion. So you're given an opportunity to do that. So please do follow for further updates. As mentioned, with venues that will be posted shortly, as well as we're working on the final details, but we will ensure that you get that information.
And there you have it, guys. The TCI Fashion Week coming up soon. You have about a month to prepare. Literally a month from today,
Yes.
the 26th of April. You have a month to prepare. Get your outfits. Book your hair and your makeup appointments. It's going to be an exciting week. Alicia, thank you so much for coming to Spotlight on Tourism to talk about this initiative.
Thank you for having me. It is a pleasure.
Yes, really appreciate it. So, guys, I just want you to have a wonderful weekend. We will not have a show next week, but so I want you to have a wonderful, safe, and enjoyable Easter. And I'll see you next time on Spotlight on Tourism.